Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about what is bus, what are the type of bus, what are the types of multiple bus hierarchies, and what are the elements are used to design a bus. The bus is a communication pathway. It's connecting two or more devices. Bus is used as a shared communication medium. A bus consists of multiple communication paths or lines. If two devices transmit during the same time period, the signals will overlap. Therefore, only one device at a time can transmit successfully. A bus that connects major components like processor, memory, and I/O, that is called system bus. The most common computer interconnection structures are based on the use of one of the more system buses. A system bus consists of 50 to hundreds of separate lines. Each line is assigned with a particular meaning or a function. The buses or the lines or can be classified into three groups, that are data lines, address lines, and control lines. Data lines that provide a path for moving data between system modules. These lines are collectively called the data bus. The data bus may consist of 32 to hundreds of separate lines. The number of lines refers to the width of the data bus. The address lines are used to find the source and destination of the data on the data bus. The control lines used to control the access and use of the data and address lines, since they are shared by all the components. The components used the control lines are memory write, memory read, I/O write, I/O read, clock, reset, bus request, interrupt request, and interrupt acknowledge, and e-transfer acknowledgement. These controls are used the control bus. Memory write. These are used to address the data on the particular address. Memory read. This is used to read the particular data on the particular address. I/O write. This is used to write the data on the particular I/O port. I/O read. I/O read means read a data from I/O port. Clock. This clock is used to synchronize operations. Reset. Reset used to initialize all the modules. Bus request. This indicates that the module needs to gain the control of the bus. Interrupt request. It indicates that an interrupt is pending. Interrupt acknowledge. This acknowledges the pending interrupt has been recognized. Transfer acknowledge. This indicates that data have been accepted from or placed on the bus. Operations on the bus buses will do one module wishes to send data, or if one module wishes to request data. If one module wishes to send data, that may use bus or transfer data via bus. If one module wishes to request data, it uses the bus or transfer the request to the other module over the control and address lines. Then wait for that second module to send the data. The bus types are used based on some hierarchies. There are two types of bus hierarchies, that are traditional bus architecture and high performance architecture. Traditional bus architecture having the buses or local bus, system bus, and expansion bus. This local bus used to connect CPU and cache. The system bus is between the main memory and the cache. Expansion bus used the additional devices like I/O modules and main memory. High performance architecture. This uses the buses or local bus, system bus, high-speed bus and expansion bus. The local bus used between the CPU and cache. The system bus used between the cache and memory. The high-speed bus is used between the high-speed module and cache. The expansion bus is used between the low-speed module and the expansion interface. Bus design. The bus has been designed based on various elements that are type, width of the bus, timing, method of orbitation, and data transfer type. The buses are the types of dedicated and multiplexed. Dedicated means the bus line is permanently assigned to a one function. Multiplexed means one or more functions are used in the same line. The width of the bus is determined by the address and data. Address means the wider address bus has been impact on range of locations that can be referenced. Data means the impact on the number of bits transferred at one time. Method of orbitation. The method of orbitation are two types, centralized and distributed. Centralized means a single hardware device known as bus controller that is responsible for locating the time on bus. Distributed, each module contains access control logic and the modules act together to share the bus. The timing of the bus are based on synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means the occurrence of the events on the bus is determined by a clock. Asynchronous timing means the occurrence of one event on the bus follows and depends on the occurrence of a previous event. Type of data transfer between the buses are read, write, read, modify, write, read after write, and block. Read means data can be read from any module. Write, data can be written on memory or CPU. Read, modify, write. A read action followed immediately by a write to the same address. Read after write. A write followed immediately by a read to the same address. Block. One address cycle is followed by n data cycles. The first data item is transferred from the address and remaining data from subsequent addresses. Now we know what is bus, what are the type of bus, what are the types of hierarchical methods, and what are the elements are needed to design a bus. Thank you.